Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the show. My name is Rob Kaiser and I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the All Around Growth Podcast. This is episode number 218 of a show that is intended to provide insight and tools to building the life and homestead of your dreams. My name is Rob Kaiser and I am your host. Today we are going to talk about election jitters. But before we dive into that, I'd like to explain why. I read through some of the daily devotionals that I've been pulling from recently for the show. Those are 48 Days, or The Rudder of the Day, written by Dan Miller, author of 48 Days to the Work You Love. I've also been reading from 365 Tao, written by Deng Ming Dao. But today we're going to mix it up and read from Strength for Today, which is a Christian devotional written by David Jeremiah, a book that was gifted to me by someone at the church, an associate pastor at the church. So let's read and let's drive. From Psalm chapter 37, verses 1 through 2, do not fret because of evildoers, nor be envious of the workers of iniquity, for they shall soon be cut down like the grass and wither as the green herb. Elections can send us into mass panic. When competing candidates or philosophies are vying for control of a city, state, province, or nation, it creates a widespread sense of uncertainty and trepidation. But nothing should distress the believer. God controls the events of history. He makes short work of evildoers, and he tells us not to fret. When the American Continental Congress convened in Philadelphia, Reverend Jacob Duché led them in prayer. He said, "Be thou present, O God of wisdom, and direct the counsels of this honorable assembly. Enable them to settle settle things on the best and surest foundation, that order, harmony, and peace may be effectively restored, and that truth and justice, religion and piety prevail and flourish amongst the people. Let's pray for God to guide our leaders and to remind them of the power of his providence over all his life. And remember, do not fret, it only causes harm." And we read that in Psalm chapter 37, verse 8. Now, this is interesting to me because I have some pretty strong thoughts and opinions about government and specifically about election jitters. First and foremost, when it comes to elections and jitters in the news, I personally do not have election jitters. I do not vote. I may at times vote on issues that may affect my local community, but I most certainly do not vote at the state level and at the federal level. I think that there was one telling line in the beginning of this. When competing candidates or philosophies are vying for control of a city, state, province, or nation. You see, this is how governments work. And this is how people in power operate. They vie for control. You see? They vie for control. You are a battery upon which is being drawn from daily, slowly draining. We are little more than line items on the spreadsheets of our masters, providing income in the form of taxes to support things that you have no say in whatsoever. yes, one can make the argument that there's no room for complaining if you don't vote. Let's get something very clear here. I am not complaining. I'm just expressing my beliefs in a flawed system. But I'm also a realist, and I understand that the system is in place and it's not going to change. If anything, it's going to continue its current trajectory of people through government vying for control over what you can and cannot do with your life. Whether that's through the form of taxes or legislation or anything for that matter, as far as I'm concerned. When someone vies for control, it leads me to believe that the people who are vying for control don't have confidence in the people they are looking to control. Now, they're not going to look at it that way, and if you were to talk with someone about this, vying for control, I'm quite certain that most people would say that they hold these positions in office because they are trying to make improvements in their community, that they're trying to make the world a better place, that they're trying to build a stronger nation, that they're trying to build back better, if you will. That's all well and good, and if you want to believe that. And a lot of people do. I was one of them for quite some time. I remember voting in four presidential elections ago. I voted for, it doesn't even matter, the last president that I voted for was Ron Paul. And that was the beginning of the end of the termination of my voting practices. I'll be damned if I see myself online with a sticker on my shirt having taken a selfie after I voted, expressing how proud I am of my participation in a system that's set up to control me. Fuck that. No, thank you. I'm too busy in my own life working on setting up systems that will facilitate and ease my transition away from that system. But in order to transition away from systems or things that we disdain, we have to have a plan in place. And if you have no plan in place, you're planning to fail. All right? No matter what it is you're trying to accomplish. Fail to plan, plan to fail. There's a lot of us that talk about goals, objectives, things that we want to accomplish, but we never put it on paper. We keep it in the back of our minds. Maybe we jot it down. Maybe we have a little task or project management software that we use, that we set recurring reminders, and it comes up. And instead of taking action, we talk to ourselves and think about how it's not the right time, how we've got to do other things first before we can do that thing. Bullshit. It's an excuse. I'm sorry if that rubs you the wrong way, but I've made those same claims before in my life, and I was grateful enough to have someone in my life call me out and give me a little bit of tough love and say, bullshit, Rob. It's an excuse. You're making an excuse. You're doing, or I guess more specifically, not doing some things because you want to not do them more than you want to. That was a large and quite bitter pill to swallow, and sometimes it still is. But I'm very confident when I say everything everyone does is done because they want to do that thing more than they do not want to do something else. When we make choices, when we talk about, I can't do that because of XYZ, what we're really saying is, I choose to do this because I don't want to do that. And it's a very important distinction to be made, and that's a very important lesson to be learned, is that we all make choices. We all take action, even if it is in the form of inaction, procrastination, analysis paralysis. It's all forms of action being taken, quite frankly, because of our own failure to shit or get off the pot. I understand that what I'm talking about right now in terms of goals and accomplishments doesn't necessarily relate to election jitters, right? And that's okay, because like I said from the very beginning, I don't have a whole lot to say about election jitters, for I am a non-voter, and I also acknowledge the broken system that is our system. And for God's sake, these people, bear with me. Back to election jitters and goals. You can choose to get hung up with elections and the news and everything else that people are talking about, sports ball, all that shit, if you want. And I'm not gonna chastise you for it. It's cool. You know, we all have the things that we do that we enjoy, give us pleasure, little hobbies that we have, things that aren't really productive in any way, shape, or form. And that's fine. You are not me, and I am not you. But regardless of who we are, where we are on this journey called life, I am a firm believer in goals. And I'm also a firm believer in writing them down, having an actionable plan, something to reference and review and return to, having a 3-year plan, a single 1-year goal, and then breaking down different aspects of your life into separate goals and having annual goals for those, as long as they were provided that they fit into your 3-year plan. Now, how do you do this? How does it all come together? It's easy. Or rather, it's simple, but it's not easy. It's going to require a lot of work on your part. And I started this last night. Last week, I was thinking about goals. I was thinking about how I was going to approach 2022, because we've got 2 months left in the year. 2 months left. That's less than 60 days. We're already 1/3 of the way through the 4th quarter. We're close to the closure of this year, and we're close to the beginning of next year. And unlike years in the past, what I'm doing this year is a little bit different. Instead of taking my time between Christmas and New Year's to go over my weekly review or my yearly review, past year review, I'm still going to do that, but I'm going through a process now to work through my goals, to think about a 3-year plan, to think about goals in 7 aspects of my life: financial, physical, family, personal development, social, spiritual, and forgive me, I can't remember the last one right offhand. But the reason I'm going into all this depth, instead of talking more about election jitters, is because I don't care about election jitters. If you want to, great. But if you're caring about election, government, and the process that it is, if you care too much, it's going to start to negatively impact you. Look around at society and you can see the deep caring that is in place with each and every one of us, and you can also see the negative impact that it's having on us as people as a whole. All right, back to goals real quick as we begin to conclude the episode. In the show notes, I'm going to include a link to Dan Miller's 2022 goal setting guide. I've included links to some material that Dan's had in the past, and some of it may seem like a sales pitch. I get it. And in the past, I've also linked to things, and they've been affiliate links because I'm trying to sell the product that I use. This is not that. This is completely free. You do need to put in your email address, and after doing so, in order to access the PDF file that guides you through this goal setting process, you will be on the 48 days email list. Okay? Now, if you're interested in the guide, but you absolutely do not want to be on another email list, I'll give it to you. But you've got to join the Telegram group, t.me/allaroundgrowth, and engage with us there, and I'll get it in your hands. Telegram's not your thing, but you're very interested. All right, cut your break. Shoot me an email, allaroundgrowth@gmail.com, and I'm sure we can figure something else out there too. Okay, guys, that is about it for today's show. Please check out the show notes. There will be links to this book, Strength for Today, written by David Jeremiah. There will also be links to Dan Miller's goal setting book. I'm getting distracted because we got people walking out here. The driver's getting ready to leave his for his trip for the day. He's walking, doesn't want to talk to me, and that is okay. We're going to wrap it up here. Yeah, guys, like I said, check out the show notes. There will be links to the book, Strength for Today, written by David Jeremiah. But more importantly, there's going to be links to the 2022 goal setting guide. Please take a minute, click on that link, explore it, consider entering your email address, and consider downloading that guide. It is something that I'm confident can change your life if you're willing to do the work. So if you hear this, you're interested in goals, but you don't take action in the ways that I've suggested, then it's important to realize that you are more interested in your inaction than you are in taking action to improve yourself. Again, a bitter pill to swallow, but it's important that we realize this reality. Every day, with everything we do, we make a choice. Guys, I hope you have a great day. I wish you, your families, many blessings. Check out that guide. Join me in changing your life. t.me/allaroundgrowth is where you can chat with other people who are doing the same. This is Rob Kaiser, and thank you.